Hey guys, Mason Ford here with Team Mint Discs. We're here at the Mint Disc headquarters to show you guys what I got in the bag. All right guys, we're gonna start off with the putters. Right now I carry 4. I feel like the best way to start the video off is probably going with my Signature Series Apex Bullet first. Talking with Zach at the beginning of the season, we were kind of talking what I was looking for in a putter, and a throwing putter at that. I just feel like this Apex Bullet just complements my game so well. I can throw it on pretty much whatever angle I really want to throw it on, whether it's an anhyzer, flat shots, or hyzers. Especially in the woods, it's point and shoot. It's pretty much a do-it-all putter for me. If I had to compare my Signature Series Bullet with the other runs of bullets that I've thrown, I would say that this is probably one of the more stable runs in just the Apex plastic. I would have to say the Nocturnal is probably the straightest and the most straight to understable. The Apex Swirl is pretty much point and shoot, just dead straight, and it breaks in fairly quick. The Apex in this plastic specifically, the burnt orange color, is my most stable. I can throw it out flat and it actually has a little hyzer finish instead of that typical bullet point and shoot dead straight finish. Next, we're gonna go to the putting putters. So I carry 3 putting putters. I carry 2 Royal Soft Profits. They're both pink. I thought at the beginning of the year I was going to putt strictly with bullets just due to the glide, and I just found out that they actually complement each other really, really well. I like the Profit a little bit more in some wind, and you know, on tour you never know what kind of wind you're gonna have, so that's why I carry 2. I also carry the Soft Bullet, and the Soft Bullet is my long range putter from outside the circle. By going with the Bullet from my further putts, I get more glide out of it, so I don't have to putt the disc as hard, where the Profit might want to die last second. This will keep gliding and go to the basket. Next, we're gonna move on to the mid-ranges. So at the moment, I carry 3 Mustangs. I know, right? What a shocker. One of the best flying mid-ranges on the market. First one is actually, I believe this might be the first disc I ever picked up from the warehouse. It's an Apex Swirl Mustang. This disc is pretty much my do-it-all. It's getting pretty flippy, which I really like. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it was to get as flippy as what it did. For this one, it's pretty much point and shoot, throw it flat, little turn to it, hyzer flips that turn once I put some power onto it. I really enjoy this for that 300-foot slight hyzer flip and a little bit of turn on it. It's probably one of my favorite discs to throw in the bag. My second Mustang is a Nocturnal. I'm actually a huge Dragon Ball fan. I got this from Die Daily in San Antonio. On the die, I have Kid Goku throwing a Kamehameha, and I just feel like it brings me back to my childhood, back to when I used to watch it and just enjoy it. I think Kid Goku's perfect to like identify with, just because it's like, it's still Goku. He still has all that power, but everybody's got that little kid in them, you know? This one is similar to this other one, the way it started, the flight. I really like how straight it is at the beginning, and it has a little subtle fade to it. I can also throw this on a good amount of anhyzer. It'll just get back to flat for some of the bigger turnover shots that I might have to throw. I also really enjoy the Mustang for some scramble shots. If I'm in the woods and off to my left side, have to lean out on a knee and throw a little forehand touch shot back to get back into the fairway, I really enjoy it for that as well. A lot of people like to forehand overstable mid-ranges, but I also think it's really good to learn a straighter, neutral forehand for those touch shots onto some of the tricky greens. All right, moving on up, a touch and stability. We have another Apex Swirl Mustang. This one has a little bit more dome compared to the other run. I think that's why it's a little bit more overstable. I went and did field work with this one the other day and absolutely fell in love with it. I love how it's just consistent in its flight. I can throw it on a little bit of anhyzer and it'll come out. I can kind of throw it on a steeper nose angle up and it'll actually pan out of the shot, or I can just throw simple little hyzer shots with it, kind of where I need more glide out of a finishing shot to the left than I might get out of a BOBCAT. But yeah, this is my most overstable Mustang that I carry. And on this one, it's hard to not notice the logo in the middle of the stamp and how the beautiful swirls just complement my logo on it. And then the beautiful colors on the bottom. Next up, I have one more mid-range, the fourth in the bag. I have a first run from 2019 Eternal Bobcat. Got this from Zach. It was out of the tour vault, and you'll see as we kind of go throughout the bag, I have a couple gems from the vault and some other generous donations. One thing that you guys might be surprised about the Bobcat is that it's not just an overstable meat hook of a mid-range. It's got some good overstability, but it also gets a good forward push with a reliable fade. So this Bobcat for me, I really enjoy the flat top on it. The flatter ones seem to have more torque resistance on forehands, and backhands is just a good straight overstable flight. So I find myself throwing this disc a lot for overstable forehand approaches where there's not some kind of sloped or tricky green to land on, or just consistent hyzers at that 300 and 320 foot range, or just little chip up shots that I need to just stick and dart. Very good, overstable, reliable mid-range, the Bobcat. All right, next up guys, we're gonna move into the fairways. At the moment, I have 7 fairways in the bag. Let's start with the first one. I have a Nocturnal GRACKLE. What is not to say about a Nocturnal GRACKLE? It's a great 7-speed fairway driver, very workable, very good in the woods, pretty much point and shoot. I'm waiting to get one beat in, so if anybody has any that are beat in a little bit, mine is taking forever to beat in. Pretty much you can do whatever you want with this disc. You can throw it on slight flexes and just get it to hold over. You can throw it flat and let it fade down tunnels or just open fairway shots. I like to really use this for any shots around 350 to like 390 is where I get a really consistent flight out of it. So I leaned on this disc pretty heavily at the Champions Cup. I believe I was throwing it on hole 4. I think it's 330, really tight tunnel on the right side, and you want to have it fade left down the tunnel. Get a little bit of skip towards the end. This fit that slot perfectly. I believe I was also throwing it on hole 7's upshot, about that 350, 330 foot range, where you can throw a slight flex and have it stall into the side of the hill, come in with low speed. Great disc for that shot as well. Next on, we're gonna move on to all my alphas. So right now, I have 5 alphas in the bag. Let's start with the most stable. I have a Sublime 3rd run, copper. I got this from Justin Davis. I believe this is the most overstable run of alphas that they've came out with. It's just super consistent. I really throw it for shots from 330 to 410. 410 is about my range with this, and at that I kind of have to throw a little bit of flex on it just to get it to go that distance. I don't really forehand it a whole lot, but for the backhand overstable shots, it's perfect. It's just my go-to for that overstable fairway approach. Next up, I have the new run of Eternal Alpha. When I first threw this, I was kind of thinking about what slot this would fit in my bag, and it's just a notch down from that copper. This has a good straight to overstable flight. It goes further than my other 3rd run copper, and it's just very workable. I can throw it on little flex shots, I can throw it on hyzer approaches, I can throw it straight through gaps and have a finish to it. It's just, it complements an overstable fairway really well. Next up, talk about the Tour Vault. I have a 1st run alpha from the man Adam Case, the owner of the ranch. This couldn't be a straighter flying fairway driver for me. Talk about a point and shoot fairway, just a notch or 2 up in speed from the GRACKLE. I feel like this flies almost exactly like that Nocturnal GRACKLE that I have, just 2 clicks faster. On an open course, this is probably my go-to disc. from any shot angle or release angle, or I probably trust this disc alone the most in my bag. Everyone needs a dependable go-to fairway driver. The Alpha is mine. Next up, we have a third run Apex. It started out really straight, and as you can see with the dome, it's got really good glide. I have another white third run, and it's a little bit more overstable. It's pretty brand new in its flight. As this one has kind of beaten in, it's gotten that really good glide with a little bit of turn to it. So this was probably my most thrown disc at the Champions Cup. Slight hyzer release, slight anhyzer release. I can pretty much, depending on the release angle of the disc, tell it to do exactly what I want to do. I'll throw this one anywhere from 380 feet to, I can probably push it out to around 470 if I really want to get hold of it. Shots in particular that I can think of from the Champions Cup, I really liked throwing this on hole, I think it was 12's tee shot. Requires it just to be dead straight. A lot of people play a little left to right movement with it, and to get to the right landing zone is probably 420 away, and I just feel like this disc fit that shot so perfect. Moving on to the next Alpha in the bag, my flippiest one. I have a second run Apex from 2017. This one I didn't get at the beginning of its life, so I don't know how it started off, but right now it is my most understable. I can start this out on any amount of hyzer, and it almost always holds over. Very rarely, unless there's a lot of tailwind, if I release it on a hyzer, will it have any fade left at all. I can really think of using this disc on hole 10 at Jonesboro, 390, pretty much dead straight, kind of a left to right sloping green, and this disc just fits that shot so perfect. You need to release it on a little slight hyzer and just get it to tip just right at the right point and slide across over to the green. This is my flippiest Alpha that I have. Next up for you guys, we have a Nocturnal Phoenix. Talk about a meat hook. I think this is the most overstable Phoenix that they've made. It's kind of got a cool Victoria Open memorial stamp for me. Normally when I'm back at home and go to play home courses, I'll throw a couple of these in my bag just to try to beat them up, and I have yet to get one to have any sort of wear and tear on it. It's kind of incredible. I think it's just attests to the consistency and the durability of the mint plastic. I use this really for scramble forehand flex shots if I need that slight bend and a flex to it, just spike hyzers over the top of things, or tight flex lines. This thing wants to break out of a flex line really quick and still find the ground. Doesn't have too much glide, but that's where I throw that that's where I throw that third run Sublime over this when I want that glide and stability compared to just the reliable overstability of the Phoenix. Next up, we're gonna go to the drivers. I think at the moment I have 4. I'm gonna go through the goats first. First off, I got a special package in one day from Guy. This is by far my favorite goat. It is so cool to have my Diamondback stamp on my favorite driver. The Glow Goat, this one for me is just super overstable. Any sorts of forehands, I really like how flat it is, especially for my forehand. I really don't like the forehand domey discs just because I feel like I lose control over the plate of the disc. The island shot at Jonesboro, hole 6, forehand, stuck the green every time. Very reliable, especially for that shot. You never know what kind of wind you're gonna have coming over the water. The Glow Goat is a disc I trusted there. Next up, I have 2 Apex Swirl. The first one I have is brand new to the bag, just trying to beat one in, but this is a heavier weight. It's a 174, so it's got a little bit of dome to it. I would say it's probably on the domey side of a goat compared to some of the other ones that we have, like the Nocturnal. Very straight for a goat as well, has good glide. I can put little flexes on it. This one doesn't quite hyzer flip for me yet unless there's a good amount of headwind. But yeah, I don't throw this one a whole lot for forehands either. Next up we have my second one. Cool story about this one. I went to the warehouse one day after coming back from a trip, and this is the first swirly goat that I picked out actually from the warehouse, and it's still in the bag. I haven't lost it yet somehow, but this one is significantly more beat in than the other two goats that I have in my bag. This one now gets a little bit of hyzer flip up, just not quite the turn on it yet. This is also my main forehand distance disc right now. For any forehands, little flex shots, hyzer flips with the forehand. This is just probably all around my go-to distance driver when it comes to a goat. Last but not least, we have an Eternal Longhorn, first run from 21. Any discs that I need to have a little bit more turn to it than what the goats will give me, and a little bit more glide. This is like the perfect 11 speed, especially for this run that I have. It's not the most overstable run, but it's also not the flippiest. I feel like it's just got that perfect medium stability, workable driver that just has an all-around great flight. Now I want to show you guys what I am carrying the discs in this year. I'm carrying the Pound Octothrope. Can't pass up on the white camo and the green olive bottom with the tan zippers. Just the best way for me to build a bag. Got all the space I need out of a bag. Rainfly with the magnetic clips on it, holds all my water, you know, all the essentials. Grip pouch over here, anything you guys could ever want out of a bag with the best straps in the game. Go check out Pound Packs. I fit 4 putters up here on the top, and I can fit probably 18 to 20 discs on the inside. Total about 24, 25 discs. I know it sounds like a lot, but with the way that they have these back straps, it's very comfortable for me. I don't have any issues with it on the road, walking these big courses. Thank you everybody for watching, for the support. I'm glad I got to show you guys what I have in the bag and what bag I'm carrying.
Wait. Check these out.
What are these? Looks like we got a little surprise. Guy just handed me 4 molds. I don't really know what they are. This first one kind of feels like if you mashed a bullet in a Prophet. That's interesting. Feels like if you made the Prophet a little deeper and put a bead on it, a bigger bead than what it has. Looks great. This next one, got a flat top. Kind of feels like if you made a BOBCAT a putter. Kind of shallower. Seems like it'd be pretty overstable with the flat top and the way that they did this bottom lip. I can't wait to get out and test this one. Next up, wow. This feels like if you had a Mustang and you put, kind of like that first putter, kind of like if you just put a little bit bigger bead on the bottom of a Mustang, and it looks like they kept like the flattish kind of top. I feel like this would fit perfectly like right between that BOBCAT and Mustang slot. The last one of the 4, whoa. This feels like if you mashed the GRACKLE rim and like a jackalope flight plate. I feel like this is gonna be like a perfect point and shoot, like flippy 7 or 6 speed maybe? I can't really tell. Feels like a really good fairway driver. That's awesome. I guess we got a little insight on 4 new molds that might be in the bag next year. Thank you for watching everyone. Remember, stay mint out there.